Hello, everyone. It's Paul again from New Jersey Recovery and Wellness. Thank you for staying with us as we continue to commemorate National Recovery Month by talking each and every day about how to support a person in your life who you know and love, who has a substance use disorder or is in early recovery. Stay with us as we check out day 26 of our 30-part series. Enhance nutrition. Food is fuel being used by our body and our brain. The quality of what we put in is going to determine what we can expect to get out of it. Individuals who are actively using substances are likely to struggle with their nutrition. As a treatment provider, we can commonly see when people are entering into a treatment setting that there are many nutritional deficits and at times medical complications due to malnutrition. When our nutrition is off, we feel off. And for those with substance use disorders or in early recovery, feeling off can be one of many factors that can influence a recurrence or relapse in old substance using behaviors. As an attempt to get rid of this uncomfortable off feeling. How do you support a person in your life who has a substance use disorder or in early recovery? Enhance nutrition. Now, right off the bat, I want to get rid of the idea that we're talking about dieting. This is far from it. Diets are fads. They're not sustainable over time. In the case of what we're talking about here, when we're talking about our diet, we're talking about what we are actually consuming. And what better way to start to do this than to just go right into the kitchen, look in the refrigerator, the freezer, and the pantry. What are the options? Ideally, your loved one is going to have access to a range of foods that will provide different nutrients necessary to promote health. And listen, I'm fully aware of the convenience and tastiness of processed and prepared foods, and I'm not trying to push any agenda of any particular type of diet. I'm really just trying to create a space where we can have some awareness about the choices of what we're putting into our body, especially considering the changes that we're looking to promote for our loved ones. The question here is there a balance of whole foods versus processed foods? When we're working with our loved ones to talk about nutrition and different ways to enhance nutrition in their lives, we're going to be looking at a couple of key concepts. First and foremost here, we want to consider foods that are naturally sweet over those foods that have added or artificial sweeteners in them. One key, rather indisputable point of knowledge here is that sugar promotes craving. We see this in literature about diabetes. So especially for those who have substance use disorders or are in early recovery, we want to be mindful of what may increase cravings. If a person is consuming many foods that have added sugars, when they experience the crash afterwards, the internal experience can mimic the sensation of coming down from a high or a very mild withdrawal. In the brain of those who may have a substance use disorder, there's likely going to be an unconscious pull towards picking up a substance to get rid of this very, very uncomfortable feeling. Our brains do many amazing, awe-inspiring things, and yet they can still have difficult time differentiating between a sugar craving and a drug craving. It just is what it is. Next, we want to keep in mind the adage of good input, good output. And to do this, we want to take a look specifically at serotonin. Serotonin is a neurotransmitter or a brain chemical that helps in mood regulation, thinking and learning, and reward. Do you know that over half of the serotonin that goes to our brain is produced in our intestines? In order to do so, our intestines need the right combination of ingredients in order to make the bacteria necessary to produce serotonin. If we're not getting our nutrients, we're not going to be able to make the quantity of these feel-good chemicals that we need. So yes, when your mom said, "You are what you eat," You may not be a Pop-Tart, but there's still a point to take away here. We want to make sure that your loved one has a balance of nutrients going through their digestive tract, not only to fuel the body for physical health and wellness, but also to fuel the brain and encourage mental health. And I'd also be remiss if we did not talk about expanding the options for sources of protein, carbohydrates, fats, while being sure to integrate vitamin and nutrient-dense fruits and vegetables. The key ingredients here are going to be options and balance. So when we take a look at the options of these particular groups for proteins, we want to be taking a look at what capacity is there to integrate lean meats, poultry, fish, dairy, and nuts into a person's everyday eating habits. Carbohydrates, I know in our typical American diet, we view carbs as being the devil. Not necessarily the case here. They are necessary, however, they shouldn't be the staple of every meal. When we're taking a look at carbohydrates, we want to shift towards unrefined or unbleached breads and pastas, and thinking about brown rice as opposed to traditional white rice. The refining process that these types of carbohydrates go through, it strips the nutrients from these foods, making them poor sources of carbohydrates. Also, when we talk about fats, please do know, similar to carbohydrates, fats can have a bad rap. We need fats to function appropriately. Our brain works the way that it does because of fats. So no, fats are not the enemy, but we want to be aware of the amounts of fat that we're integrating into our day, as well as the types of fats. Think of a traffic light. Stop consuming the trans fats. These would be your red lights. Take caution when consuming saturated fats. We really do want to limit these in our diet. The yellow light. And then it's a green light for the mono unsaturated fats. Again, these aren't a staple of every single meal, however, a complement to a dish. Maybe we're going to be cooking our dish using an oil of some sort. This is a way to integrate fat. Maybe in a salad, we're going to throw some avocado in there. This is a way to integrate fat. Maybe as part of a healthy snack throughout the course of the day, we're going to get a handful of nuts. Also, a nutritious source of fat. Fat is not the enemy. We just need to integrate it in the right way. Fruits and veggies are ideally going to be the staple of a meal, as it's where you're going to get the bulk of the nutrients that you need. And an expression that's common here, especially if you think about a particular candy slogan, taste the rainbow. What do I mean by this? Think about all the different types of fruits and vegetables. Some have shades of different colors. This is not a random occurrence. These colors represent a density of different types of nutrients. So if you're having a little of each color every single day, you're definitely getting everything that your body needs. And just a little bit of a wrap up here, I want to give a specific shout out to two nutrients, fiber and vitamin D. If your loved ones want to make changes regarding their substance use, you're going to want to increase fiber in their diet. Think of it as doing a deep clean of your intestinal tract. Fiber gets in there and scrubs away any of the old junk that might be hanging out from nutrient-lacking foods that you may have been consuming in the past. Think about fruits and vegetables, things that are stringy or grainy, like apples, celery, or beans. Or you can also consider whole grains, like brown rice, wild rice, or quinoa. And for vitamin D, deficits in D are linked with higher rates of depression. So to promote a balanced mood, we're going to want to bump this up. Many people are actually naturally vitamin D deficient, as in our lives now, especially here in America, we spend a lot more time indoors than outdoors, and we don't necessarily eat a lot of vitamin D dense foods. So including citrus on a daily basis or taking a little bit of a supplement can also be very, very effective here. Just a reminder, we don't need to overhaul our loved one's kitchen to help them boost their nutrition. More often than not, we can go a long way by just expanding more nutritious options and filtering out some of the foods that they may be looking to step away from. When we're more balanced in our nutrition, we feel better. We may be feeling less likely to experience food cravings and crashes. This is helpful for our loved ones with substance use disorders, as these cravings and crashes may precipitate a lapse in their substance use. Eating can be fun. Look up some new recipes or play around with an old favorite. Make a night out of it. You and your loved ones can connect over a good meal that's good for you and fuel your bodies and brains at the same time. Thank you for staying with us as we continue to commemorate National Recovery Month by talking about how to support a person in your life who you know and love, who has a substance use disorder or is in early recovery. If you liked what you saw here, please do click that like and subscribe button and ring the bell so you can receive notifications on other videos that come up in this series or in this channel in general. Always do share this information with anyone that you think might benefit from it. From us here at New Jersey Recovery and Wellness, thank you so much. Look forward to seeing you next time.